What every Russian schoolboy knows.
Good time of day to all of you, my chess friends. This is Grandmaster Yermolinsky. Welcome back. What every Russian schoolboy knows. Today we're going to be talking about Magnus Carlsen, or rather that particular game he won against Hikaru Nakamura. In round 7 of the London Classic, the game was heavily covered and analyzed by many, and I don't pretend to have the final word on it. Just wanna share my impressions, and I'll be also borrowing, from other people's analysis. And I looked at a lot of stuff on the internet, and if I lifted a line from somebody, please accept my apology. But no, all this is kind of public domain now anyway. So about Magnus, obviously his fans and numerous fans, well, they were bewildered because Magnus did not play well in the long stretch beginning at the start of the Grand Chess Tour, his tournament in Norway. His tournament. Well, it's supposed to be his tournament, but it wasn't. And then he struggled until this game. Oh, boy, lost a lot of rating points. And it's not like the group of players that play him all the time were given chase. They were not given chase. They were spinning wheels. But Magnus was just dropping down, and now the gap didn't seem that big, some 30 points or so. Well, although I think there are some signs of recovery, and probably by the time you get to see this video, you will have more proof of that. But anyway, to the Nakamura game. I don't want to talk about 11-0, 12-0, so that's old beaten talk, I want to look at the chess moves. Alright, so Magnus needed obviously to win because he started the tournament with 6 draws. Only 3 rounds to go, and he wasn't doing anything. So, d4. Now Hikaru goes d5 and Slav. They actually played this before. It was one of the games Magnus won, but okay, it can be said about a lot of games between these two. Bishop f5 was played in that game. Yeah, but now Bishop g4, and interestingly that Magnus started taking a lot of time here. It's almost like if he wasn't prepared for something, then I know it was just difficult for him to play moves and then in the opening. Maybe it's not a bad idea because the cavalier attitude to the opening it cost Magnus a lot of games, particularly lately. So it takes more time. No, it puts him in a more difficult situation maybe to convert his advantages, as you will see in this game. But at least the opening goes kinda right for him. So, h3, bishop there, c takes d5. Now, it's one of possible lines. A little quiet, but no, people play like this. Black takes back, and now knight c3, e6. Yeah, in old days, people thought, I get to play the Slav, and I move the bishop out, and I don't lose the pawn on b7. And I mean, the black's just like fine. They will take on f3 and play knight c6. But no, times change, and now white appreciates small advantages that built in this position. Or the bishop pair, even if the bishops are not active, particularly the bishop from c1, they will become active if the game opens up. And for black, it's hard to count on a liberating move e5 because the d-pawn is going to become real weak. And if he sits there, well, as they say, solidly, and I know, plays g6 and bishop there, then white can expand on the king side with g4. Now, more and more people are open to ideas of moving pawns like this, even keeping the king in the center, because if nothing's happening to the king, then why not? I mean, so black's looking for